Hello Capricorn, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Capricorn for the middle of September. Now do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. So we had the Eight of Pentacles pop out, and what is this card? The Knight of Pentacles, so something to consider. I am using the Gilded Tarot as well as the Angel Answers Oracle deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below if you'd like to pick them up for yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get all the cards out here. I do hope you're doing well. Hope things are going good for you, Capricorn. Please do hit that like button and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow in a big way. All right, let's take 3 of these. Let's also take 3 of these, and I want to make sure we're all set up and in view here, and then we'll go ahead and get right into it. All right, I think that's looking just about good enough to me. Energy on the bottom, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles, definitely a nice card here. The Two Pentacles cards, I normally don't take pop-outs, but I didn't take them, but I just took them into consideration, and it's like you're getting Pentacles here right away. We had the Eight of Pentacles come out, we had the Knight of Pentacles pop out when I was shuffling, then there are a bunch of other Pentacles cards here as well, or a few other, and so I think there are situations going on around, I think, a long-term, like your long-term outlook when it comes to money. The Seven of Pentacles indicates long-term investments paying off, or just your long-term financial situation or your long-term money situation. You can see that this tree has taken a long time to grow, and the Pentacles are now in full bloom here. And so this person is not only recognizing that they do have something here, but they're also asking, do we go ahead, or do I go ahead and take the Pentacles here, or do I let it grow a little bit longer? And so they're contemplating a change in direction. They're contemplating their harvest and the position that they found themselves in financially and what they should be doing. And I think some of you are maybe also, I think some of you are thinking about that. It's been a theme this whole year in my readings, just the whole year, right? We're all the way here in September now, and this theme has been coming in for many, many people. And it seems like there's some contemplation around money right now for you. So let's dive in and let's get some additional messages here. So in the overall situation, or the current situation, you do have the Judgment card. And this Judgment card is sort of like the final boss. It does ask you to go into a period of self-evaluation. It is a card of reflection. But you can see that the people here on this card, they are sort of willing to accept higher knowledge or information from a higher source. And you can see that there is this angel here. I've read that in the Rider-Waite Tarot, it can be associated with Archangel Michael. It doesn't matter if you're into angels or you're not into angels, that's the symbolism. You can see that this angel here is kind of bringing a ruling down to the people who are ready to accept accept guidance. You could also say that they're accepting their fate. Because the Judgment card is a card of karma. And really, the idea with karma is that the actions you take provide you with appropriate results, right? And so karma is all about the accumulation of your actions. As I'm sure you've heard me say before here on my readings before, if you watched my readings before. And, so it's a good card. It's the Judgment card is definitely a good card, but it is a very is what it is type of energy, where it's okay, have you taken the appropriate steps? Have you set yourself up for the most success as you can possible? And I do think that you have here. I mean, you have the Seven of Pentacles here on the bottom, and that's definitely a nice indicator. The problem position, you have the Nine of Swords. For me, this is like the mental health card. This person is having a nightmare. They're concerned that these 9 swords are going to come down and hit them, but they never actually do. And so when you get the Nine of Swords, it's sort of this idea that you could be letting fears get in the way of something, or you could be letting yeah, you could be letting fears get in the way of something, but there might also just legitimately be stressors right now. And some of you are like, I get the sense that you're soul searching or looking for the answer here. The Judgment card, it can be like looking for the answer. And, you know, I get the sense that some of you are maybe doing that at this time. And I definitely feel like that could be the case, as you see this person's also kind of contemplating or looking for the answer. The thing is, it's the final boss. Like I said, you're dealing with the final boss energy because it's the last sort of hurdle before you kind of get to the world, and the world completes something big. There are always more bosses in this life, but you know, definitely like to see what is coming in here. Now, in the past, you have the Two of Pentacles, which is another one of these Pentacles energy, right? So in the past here, there's definitely been some change in your financial situation. By default, it's a good change, but it can talk about like kind of going back and forth on something here. You can see that they're like juggling, they're throwing the pentacles between hands here. And it's this idea of like kind of going back and forth. You can see the sort of waters in the background, sort of, you know, like the rocky seas in the background. And it's this idea of like, it's this idea of potentially like having to deal with some instability in the past, I think, for you. And I do think that this instability that you've had to deal with in the past is maybe leading you to maybe like some stress here in the future, or sorry, in the current situation with the Nine of Swords here. And so I do feel like just some of you have gone through some changes, some instability. And I think that there's this maybe recognition that despite the changes that have happened here in the past, despite maybe the instability that has happened, you've still created something for yourself here with the Seven of Pentacles, and there absolutely still is something to hold on to. And I think maybe there's recognition around that for you at this time. In the future, you do have this King of Wands, so I love this energy. This is star power, especially when it's with the star, which you have. I felt like saying star power right away. You can see the star here on the throne, indicating that this person is the star of the show. And they're the king of the workplace, really. And remember, I don't attach gender to my cards, so you can take on any of these, the qualities of any of these cards. But this King of Wands, this can be somebody who's entrepreneurial. This can be somebody who is a business leader. It's typically somebody who leads from a passion, right? They lead from their passions, their talents, their hobbies, their interests. And you know, with the King of Wands, they never really are in a dead-end job. They always do a job that they love to do, because first, they have the luxury of doing that because they're talented. So they always have they have an opportunity in their back pocket at all times. So why would they stay in a dead-end job? But second, they have the capability of building up a strong business if they want to. And so this is one of the really good cards that you want to find if you're looking to make moves in business, or if you're maybe even looking to like change your career to one that is more in alignment with hobbies, with talents, with passions, which many people are doing at this time. You know, there's this whole movement around quiet quitting, which I'm not going to get into, but it's just something that comes to mind with the King of Wands. So yeah. In the thoughts, in what is on your mind or what you can see. So this is what you're able to see. You have the Four of Swords, okay? So for some of you, there's been this contemplation. Also in other illustrations of this Four of Swords card, you can see that the person is praying. You can't see it in this energy here, but there is something about you searching and seeking and looking for higher guidance here with the Judgment card, with this idea of kind of thinking about a change in direction, the idea of contemplation, or maybe even prayer with the Four of Swords, maybe even just meditation. I also think some of you are recognizing that you've healed maybe some instability you know, from the past. And I think that you also recognize that that is not where you are now. And even if it is where you are now, you have something to fall back on here. Maybe it's a talent, but you have something, right? You have something that you can fall back on here. in the subconscious, what you can't see, or the hidden, you do have the star. Again, I love this for you in terms of your personal sort of power as an employee or as a career person. Maybe even you're just self-employed. But the star is somebody who is in the starlight, okay? They are out in front of people. And, you know, this can represent like being a star, right? And I also think with this star card, what I love about this is one of my favorite cards in the tarot, is it really is about wishes coming true. And it is all about hope, optimism, and healing for the future. So you do have 2 cards of healing here. I think you're healing past instability around resources, around finances, and I think that you are making big moves in those areas. In the staff, this is the direction that you are headed in your current influence, the way that you are influencing the situation. You have this Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups, you know, this can indicate a creative invitation, a creative arrival. This can be some type of message that comes into your life that maybe makes you extremely happy. This can be news that makes you very happy. This wasn't really a love reading, and so, you know, traditionally you might see the Page of Cups and think, okay, there could be someone new coming into your life. Now you do have the Lovers as well, and so it is possible here that in the direction that you are headed, right, so in kind of more towards the future here, if you are single and you are looking for love, there could be somebody coming in here. But I think there's also this idea of like working through this instability here with the 9 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles. That's very important for you to kind of do. In the external influence, you have this 10 of Cups card. So the 10 of Cups is a major energy of happiness. It is like a windfall of happiness. It's good vibes. It's good energy. It is the final cup at the end of the rainbow. And, you know, this is something that you want to see. It's one of the happiest cards to find. It is a major card of abundance. As you see the 2 people on the bench here, they own the home behind them. And this is, you know, this can be about abundance generally in life. And remember, there's so many forms of abundance. It's not just material abundance, but also like happiness, right? Like having a good relationship or having a good family situation or being emotionally content and emotionally fulfilled in your situation. That is a form of abundance. And so you definitely love to see this kind of happening here in the external, because the external is something that's happening outside of you, right? And so I definitely, there could, you know, these 2 cards here, definitely nice to see with the Page of Cups and the 10 of Cups. That's definitely a nice combination for your overall happiness, maybe increasing here. In the hopes and fears, you do have the 9 of Pentacles, which, you know, the 9 of Pentacles, this is all about financial independence and your independence generally, but, you know, there's something here about your, you know, it's in the hopes and fears, right? And so there's something about your money situation here that I think some of you may be in a little bit of a fear mode around. I say that because I'm connecting this 9 of Pentacles to this 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is all about fears that have not happened yet, because the reality is that these swords have never come down and hit this person, but they are afraid that these swords are going to come down and hit them. They've never done that. And so I'm connecting the 2 9s here, and also that this is in the hopes and fears position. So I think that there's maybe you just need to separate fact from fiction in your financial life. The thing about money is numbers are numbers, and that's the hard part about money that not everybody talks about. In the outcome, you have the Lovers card, so that can obviously talk about a really deep connection with another person or to another person. It can talk about a really deep soul bond or soul connection. But it can also represent an important choice. And I think that probably more of you, based on this reading, will resonate with some sort of important choice that you have to make here at this time. Again, probably connected to material situations and money. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at these 3 tarot cards to clarify. Okay, so you have the 5 of Swords, you have the Knight of Cups, and you have the 3 of Swords here showing up. So this 3 of Swords feels pretty important to me for you at this time, because you have the 4 of Swords with it. Again, you can see the 3 of Swords card on the banner here. And, you know, for me, I think maybe some of you have gone through separation and there was a financial element of that. I also, especially because you have this Knight of Cups, which can indicate romance, and also the 5 of Swords, which can indicate loss. I also think that for others of you, there was separation in a job or in money situations here, because remember, there was this like instability here in the past. And yeah, I definitely feel like this has also been, for some of you, if it's just not at all connected to love, I think that that's what some of you are maybe fearful around. And if that is the case, that's like a totally normal thing. Like if you've been through job loss, if you've been through money loss, or financial loss, like it is totally normal to be fearful. But you also get a chance to work through that fear if you want to. Let's go ahead and see what these 3 oracle cards are. So you have You're Ready, Remain Positive, and Ask Your Angels. So this You're Ready card is the culmination card. It is the last card in the oracle deck. And it basically says that you're ready for something big in your life. You're ready for a new part of your life to start, a new cycle in your life to start, especially as you have this judgment energy here. Remember, like final boss energy. And then you have this Remain Positive and Ask Your Angels. You know, positivity, it's not going to fix everything, but it is going to make your life a lot easier, right? And positivity, again, it's not some like magic bullet or magic pill, but it does provide a net benefit, right? Negativity provides a net negative, and positivity provides a net positive or a net benefit. And so that is one thing about thinking positive that I think is so important as well. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next reading.